Hey, I want to welcome our viewers to a very special podcast because if you know me very well, you'll know declutter is something I try to live by. And so Maria recommended that I talk to Jordan because of just somebody that does a great job out there. So Jordan's in our studio, and I want you to get to know him. So I'm going to introduce Jordan, and he'll tell you just who he is, the company he's with, and who he serves, and then you'll get to know Jordan. Okay, Jordan, go ahead.
Hey y'all, my name is Jordan, like you said, Jordan Warrington, and we do full service residential and commercial junk removal and demolition. Of course, I'm the owner of the company. We started in November of 2021.
Okay.
So about 2 years now in business. We do full service residential, commercial and junk removal and demolition, as well as 2-day dumpster rental. We are based out in Kennesaw, but we service pretty much the whole metro Atlanta area.
Okay.
Some of the things that we do specifically within junk removal would be full home cleanouts, driveways, curbside pickups. As far as the commercial side goes, we'll do apartments, senior living centers, hotels, restaurants, and things like that. For demolition, we'll do anything from a full home and a hot tub, a shed, a barn, a trailer home, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then for rentals, of course, again, we do 2-day rentals. So if you need anything.
Is that the dumpster that you rent those out and people throw all their stuff in it?
Yes, sir.
Well, how did you get into business? What was that like?
So
right before COVID too, I think, right?
It was right after COVID.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I wish I would have got in before COVID, because I heard that during COVID that it was a pretty busy time for a lot of buddies of mine that still do junk removal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard it was pretty busy. So before I did junk removal, I did landscaping. I did landscaping for about 8 years. Coming out of high school, I did landscaping. My uncle owned a landscape business.
Mm-hmm.
He pretty much taught me everything that I knew when it came down to being a landscaper and running that type of business pretty much. Taught me how to price and all that stuff. Some of the things that we used to do underneath my landscape business was junk removal, specifically debris removal, just because we were outdoors. So I had a client of mine that was a maintenance client, and he told me, "Hey, Jordan, I know you do, more so debris removal. Do you think you can give me a quote possibly on hauling the stuff that's in my home? Because we're getting ready to move to Texas. And, we have like 20 years worth of stuff just built up from the kids being here. Now they're moved out." And I was like, let me see what I can do. So a buddy of mine, he worked for a bigger junk removal company.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much gave me a lot of tips on how to price. And I just took those price points and all that information. I pretty much made it cheaper because I'm a smaller business, a lot local definitely to this, Cobb County, metro Atlanta area.
Mm-hmm.
And I just flowed with that and got the job. Yeah, I would like to say it was around a $3,500, $4,000 job.
Mm-hmm.
Did that in the span of 24 hours. And Junkman was born after that.
Yeah, that's it. That'll put some groceries on the table.
For sure.
So what about, I mean, when you look at the customer service side of your business, what do you focus on that's helpful for our viewers to understand?
So a couple of things that I focus on is quality of the service. How much can they get out of, the service versus, if you go in with a bigger company, like say 1-800 Got Junk, they're the biggest company in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have in different countries. And they're pretty known for having some expensive pricing. And they probably can do that just because they're the top dog.
Right. Brand recognition. Yeah.
Exactly. So with them being the biggest brand, I think they carry around 13 cubic yards of space on their dump trucks. And they charge, I think, around $700 for a full load. So with us, we try to give them as much quality and value out of that. So first I'll try to give you really good customer service, make sure we answer the phones. We try to book you as soon as possible. If you're wanting it the same day, we really do try to come out the same day. And of course, definitely the same week. So we really try to get that out of the way, because I feel like with junk removal, it's definitely a more convenient type of service versus dumpster rental. Dumpster rental, you have time on your hands. You have the labor on your hands, of course, because you're going to be loading it in yourself.
Yeah.
With junk removal, there's a reason why like people call out, because they're wanting it out fast.
Okay.
We're in and out pretty fast. But comparing the sizes of, like, say, someone like 1-800 got jump versus the room that we have 18 cubic yards, and we charge $200 to $300 cheaper than them. So we try to provide quality, and then good service as far as customer service. Give them the most out of what they can get with junk removal, instead of having to go with the bigger guys just because they're big and spend unnecessary amounts of money. So, and just from the background, of morals and everything, I'm a Christian man, so definitely believe in, treating others how you want to be treated.
Yep.
And, making sure that each customer is getting treated the way I would want to get treated, or how I would treat my own family, my mother, my father. So as I look at people as I'm servicing, I look at them as fellow brothers and sisters.
Okay.
So that's a big thing for me, and I teach the guys that as well. We're very close knit in the sense of you'll see a lot of the same characteristics from me and my guys. So that's some of the things that we do.
Well, that's definitely unique out there, because I love I love, like, what you're talking about, what you learned from your mom and dad. So, like, how long ago did you start, like, working? Like, were you working in high school before that? And what was that path like for you, just in general, for our viewers to kind of understand?
So I've always kind of had, just hearing this from my family. As I got into actually an established business, as I got older, they used to tell me, "Hey, Jordan, you've always kind of been an entrepreneur in a sense, And they started bringing up examples, like when I was in middle school, I used to sell candy at school.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think it was allowed. That's what I did. Didn't really come from a big, rich, family or anything like that. So just tried to do whatever I could, to kind of lessen the burden off my parents.
Right.
And try to do little stuff like that. And from that to high school and middle school, cutting grass, and on the weekends in the summer times, I work with my uncle. Uncle's an in-law uncle. So, it was definitely, we got to bond a lot more, especially us not being like blood.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty cool. And he taught me a lot about outdoors and just working hard. And my mom's a business owner as well. She owns a picnic business, and she definitely showed me a lot. As far as I would say, like, the office side of things, and just being persistent and not complacent. As well as my dad, he owns a DJing business as well. So there's a lot of entrepreneurship in the family.
Yes. I think that is a common thing that I do here. It's like, it's almost like if we're around entrepreneurship, it rubs off on us, and we get to see, it's not easy. And I'm sure you would agree that working for somebody else is a lot easier, because all you have to do is show up, but you got to manage your employees, your the teams, the whole aspects of the financial. And what would you say in the last 2 years has been one of your bigger challenges that you've had in growing Junkman?
Biggest challenges. Maybe my age could play a role in it, because I'm so young. When I started Junkman, it was when I was 24. I'm about to turn 26 coming up here in January. It's January 2nd. And but I would say the age maybe is the thing. I think some people within the business industry, networking industry, like, type of niche, where they look at it, someone younger may not take them as serious just because of less experience, maybe. But not really getting to know that individual, and I want to kind of like, hey, I've kind of been raised around this type of environment, so I got a little bit more experience than you may think. But I think that's probably one of the things, is maybe age. But besides that, nothing too crazy.
Yeah. When you bring up the age challenge, I knew a person that he would tell people like, when I reach 30, I'm going to be there. People will respect you more when you hit 30. Now, that's a mindset thing. I mean, they'll respect you from day one if you have that kind of character and you're doing the hard work. It doesn't matter whether you're 26 or 46 or 56, whatever it is. It's just a number anyway. So, but it was funny how he just in his mind thought 30 was the barrier between, business or maybe reputation or something like that. So how do you go about finding good people to work with you?
Just I do a lot of networking around the counties. I do a lot of networking around Cherokee County, Cobb County, of course, where we're at right now. Paulding County, where I've lived most of my life, I'm from, and where else? North Fulton, a lot of times, like the Alpharetta, Milton area. But a lot of networking. I have a good amount of networking friends that know how to do website stuff.
Yeah,
they taught me a lot of tips. So I appear on Google pretty well now. So that helps out big time. Like they're organic leads. So not having a pay per click or anything like that.
Just a presence on your own mind, and that's important. I had a digital business years ago, and there are a fair amount of people that they get in that situation. They say, "Let me find out how I can find this solution." And so, how did you come up with the name Junkman?
I just wanted to be very simple with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it too complicated. There's something I've heard before where like when you're creating a business, like, don't really go with what you personally like, but go with what, is pretty simple and what people kind of just sell in a sense.
Yes.
Junkman is just, it is what it is. Literally.
I mean, that's as simple as it can be. I mean, I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. And I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine came to me and said, "This place is the best pizza place around." And they told me the pizza name, and I'm dyslexic, so pronouncing names is not like a common thing. So I'm pronouncing this name, and I'm not doing very well. And so we went and had pizza at the place, and I'm thinking, man, that's not a simple name. I mean, you try to tell people about the place, and I'm saying, oh, it's in downtown Kennesaw, and it's V something, because the person, I think, got too complicated. I think simple is always best. And when another person can't tell another person, like I can say, "Do you know Jordan from Junkman?" Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, what does he do? Well, what do you think? That's it. I mean, okay, he removes your junk. So, so that's as simple as can be. I could remember that. And I think that's brilliant. I love your philosophy of keeping it simple, because we're always trying to help people simplify things. And I think declutter. I mean, there's a Perry Marshall. We'll put a link in the show notes because I think it's real important. We talked before we got on about, the declutter mindset. And I think people here at Overture, they're usually moving from a house. Now, these are 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Now, a house is usually a little bit bigger and there's more space, meaning there's basements, there's garages. Well, there's not that much here. So everybody's cramming all this stuff into 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. And they're going, okay, now what do I do with all this extra stuff? Instead of decluttering before they come into this place, then they're not having so much excess stuff. So it's good to know that you have that kind of experience, and tell our viewers, like, what do you see when people are, like you mentioned, a person that had downsized and moving to Texas? Well, I had all that junk. So what was that person getting rid of? Like, give our viewers an idea of what a downsizing junk removal situation would be like.
Yeah, that person, they were in their years,
Okay.
up in their upper years, and
Yep.
they needed to downsize, of course, to Texas, and it was just him and his wife, and a lot of the stuff that they got rid of was really a lot of their grandkids stuff and a lot of their kids stuff, and then they had a lot of older furniture that they just couldn't bring with them,
Right.
to the smaller place. It just wouldn't fit. But it's just a perfect example of just like they weren't going necessarily to like a place like Overture, but it kind of reminded me of that just because of how much space they were getting ready to get into as far
Right.
as moving. But they had a lot of household stuff like furniture, just a whole lot of old toys, bicycles, and
Hmm.
a lot of old lawn equipment because they had a pretty decent sized lawn. They weren't gonna have to worry about that anymore because there was no lawn for them to
Yep.
cut. So a lot of stuff like that. And just some miscellaneous stuff. Honestly, could have been like
Right.
a couple pieces of wood here and there, and tools here and there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, and I know when I downsized years ago,
Mm.
and so when we were thinking of like getting rid of this stuff, I was in between, doing things, so I had plenty of time. I made at least 25 trips to Goodwill and about 5 trips to the dump.
Mm.
Now, wasn't factoring in my time, and I think that's the critical thing that I want our viewers to understand. Put a price on your time.
Mm.
I mean, I just thought, well, I have the time, so I'm going to go ahead and load up my car 25 times and take this stuff to Goodwill and the dump. Well, that takes time. It takes gas. It takes all that kind of stuff. So you're basically coming in and taking the burden off people's. And I want people to really put that value on their time because, if you have a particular business and you don't calculate your time, then you're really not being honest with what it's actually costing you. And that you're the expert in the junk removal. I may be the expert in podcasting. So if I try to be a junk removal expert, that's going to be a train wreck. Now, same thing if you said, okay, I want to be a podcaster tomorrow. Yep. Okay, there's a learning curve and everything. Yep. It is what it is. So you know what what you do best and do it, and then outsource the rest. And I think that really helps. So what about what would you say? Like, did you have brothers and sisters to learn from growing up besides your mom and dad?
I did, and in just different ways. In different ways, we're very different.
Yeah.
But there is some type of piece that I can grab from each brother or sister. A lot of things about vehicles, like trucks. I'm in the trucks, and my brother, he's in the Army right now. He works on tanks and all that stuff. So he's a mechanic in the Army. So,
okay.
But learned that from him, and a lot of things from my older sister. Her being the oldest, she doesn't. I don't think she realized it, but as I was little looking up, she's definitely a leader.
Right.
And getting kind of that leadership mentality, came along with business as well. So, just little things that I can learn from them, so.
Oh, that's so important, to pick certain things from our family that we can take away. Where are you in the birth order?
The birth order?
Yeah, like, are you the oldest, youngest? I mean, I know you're not the oldest because you said your older sister, but are you the younger of the other brothers and sisters?
I'm like the second. I'm the second middle, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Second middle.
That's a good spot.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm the second oldest, and so I have 3 that are, 2 sisters and 2 brothers. No, I'm 2 sisters and 2 brothers younger than me.
Okay.
And then 1 older. But I'm fascinated by also birth order, if you're the oldest male, the oldest female, and, just all the different things. It's kind of fascinating to see the characteristics of each. But why don't you share with our viewers, like before you were talking about fasting and you're drinking black coffee. because of it. So what's that like for our viewers to understand fasting?
So intermittent fasting, the only reason why I pretty much got into it was in high school, I used to have really bad breakouts on my face, and restricting myself from certain foods or just food in general for a certain amount of time gave my body time to heal. It gave my body time to lower inflammation, especially in my face. I feel like when you start seeing your face breakout, like especially in high school, you're really going through a stage of growth. And you're gonna start seeing things come up on your face. You're like, why this go away? Why is this happening? And the best thing, your body's pretty much telling you, hey, I need help. When you start seeing stuff come out, it's telling you on the outside what's going on the inside, I would say. And I wish I would have done that in high school. I didn't start doing intermittent fasting until I was an adult. And knowing it now, it's completely cleared up my face. Also do keto, so that helps as well. But what I was telling him earlier was, I pretty much drink black coffee on intermittent fasting. And you can actually do that because it has no calories in it. It won't break the fast. It actually will get you into a deeper state of fasting where you start building up autophagy and all that stuff, where some of those old protein cells will start to pretty much get rebuilt. And then that's where like you got a lot of clearing up as far as your skin goes. There's a lot of anti-aging properties where less wrinkles, or you start to see wrinkles start to straighten out. And also, just less joint problems, so a lot of benefits in fasting. And it's just a discipline thing too. It feels pretty good to stay consistent with something that's helping you out. But yeah, that's why I pretty much fast. A lot of people fast for weight loss reasons. I also, work out pretty heavy. I bulk, and one thing that helps me with bulking is not putting on a lot of fat while I bulk. And I would say fasting definitely helps that out. So I actually work out fasted. As far as I know, it produces 30% more muscle growth while working out fasted rather than working out while fed. Because really having to reuse whatever you have already inside of you instead of getting fed and using kind of those things. So that's pretty much the main reason why I do fast.
Oh, I love it. When I first went to see a friend of mine, a partner MD, and the gentleman who was handling the exercise and nutrition, he said he was talking to me and he was asking me a bunch of questions of my philosophy of certain things. And he showed me this book, Dr. Peter Attias. And that book was like that thick. And I'm not like an avid reader. I love to listen, but all of a sudden I dove into it, and man, he talked about fasting. It's almost like he said, like the night before, almost go to bed a little hungry. And so he basically talked about don't overeat, because the body does need to draw from nutrients and things in the body. And if you are constantly putting so much in, it doesn't have a chance to pull from the resources that are in your body. So that does make sense when you talk about the
yeah, it's a tongue twister.
Fasting, the eye fasting. Yeah, I'll just say that. So when you're not working and you're not building your company, what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I like to fish. I also train MMA, so I don't fight in it like that. I just train. Just for, health benefits, knowing how to just be self-defense. So I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. At that gym, we do judo and wrestling and all that stuff. So a lot of practice, just for, self-defense and all that stuff. Fishing for sure. I like to go fishing out on Allatoona, Lake Acworth, Edgewater River, that area. What else I like to do? I like to work out. And that's pretty much it. I like to dabble into I just like to watch a lot of the financial markets too, just see what they're doing. A lot of people like to watch Bitcoin or just whatever the Wall Street stocks are doing. But I like doing stuff like that as well. So.
That's awesome. I love it. And When you talk about trained MA fighting, MIA fighting, I mean, I have a friend of mine, a golfer, and like he got to a high level. And he was telling me a story of a friend that wanted to get into it. So he was like a couple years into it. And he was like, he's going to go out there and do really well. So he goes his first fight over in Birmingham.
Okay.
And he got his butt whooped. He was like thinking he was in great shape and all. And what he came away with was, man, these guys are good.
Yeah.
It's not like just got a little bit of muscle. They had the moves, they had everything. And he was like a rookie with experienced people. And then, because I think you always have to compare yourself as you're moving through a discipline, and MIA is such a incredible discipline. People can't imagine the time and the technique and the discipline it takes to get to these higher levels that we see on TV, and we're going like, oh, I think I could do something there. No. So that, when did you start that? Was that a couple years ago, or?
I started that last year.
Okay.
It's been a little over a year now. And I mean, you're correctly right about just, it's a lot of dedication and time. Sometimes I get disappointed because I can't make it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the way in Atlanta. It's SBG Atlanta, pretty big MMA, fighting class, I guess, school. And they train people like Conor McGregor, big UFC fighters like that. They do a really good job as far as like scheduling, taking you from a foundational standpoint all the way to intermediate standpoint to advanced. And they make sure that they're pacing you, they're not rushing you, throwing you into areas where you're not ready for, because some people do train to fight and they want to make sure you're pretty much safe enough to get into that kind of environment. If you did want to fight, they don't want to. They don't want to take somebody that's like a pure rookie and put them up against somebody that's intermediate, because something like what you were talking about.
Yeah. I mean, it was like he told me, he says, "Holy mackerel! I had no earthly idea what a rookie I was, to be in that competitive environment." Yeah. And I think it's like anything. We were playing golf. I hadn't played in a couple of years, so I was over there playing golf, and the guy in the car said, "Hey, did you notice that guy on the putting green?" I said, "No." He said, "When we started, he was putting, and when he'd miss a putt, he'd go do some push-ups." And he was like 3 or 4 hours with tees lined up, putting, and his whole thinking was, because he knew a college golfer, and they play out of Pine Tree, the dedication it takes to get to the higher level of a profession is off the chain. People think, oh yeah, I could hit a shot like that. No, they hit so many shots over and over and over again. So anything takes a dedication. I think sometimes our viewers don't realize behind the scenes what it takes to really get to the highest level. Mm-hmm. So what would you say, like reading wise, do you have any books that have really kind of hit you and like, this was good?
Any books?
Like a Think and Grow Rich, or, just anything.
That's actually one book I've read.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. A lot of people that I know that dabble into the financial markets.
Okay.
A guy recommended that book to me. I didn't read the whole book, but I thought it was pretty good for what I've read. I'm not really big on reading books. I really am online YouTube guy.
Are you? Yeah, I am too. I had a young guy. Oh, he was in his early 20s, and he told me about YouTube ad-free, because I would used to listen to it, and then of course an ad would pop in, and it kind of takes your brain off of whatever it was listening to. So I subscribed to it, and that's the best thing I ever did, because I can listen to all these videos and I don't get interrupted. Right. So when if somebody mentions a person, I'll look them up on YouTube and check them out and see what they say.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And I think, as a business owner, like you're doing a lot of things in the physical arena that you have. Because if you're injured and you're out there doing your job, you can't, depending on the position, if you're trying to show your guys how to do things and you're not in the physical shape to do these things, it could be, you're out of commission for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure.
So how do you work when somebody wants to do business with you? Are they just give our viewers contact information and how to get a hold of you?
So you can call us at 470-222-9750. That's my direct cell phone number, or you can call the company number 678-888-1770. We have our website, that's junkmanusa.com, and all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, Google, and you can also get connected with us on LinkedIn if you have LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty much it as far as getting a hold of us. And our email is info@junkmanusa.com.
Wow. I love the name. That's it's a classic, simple and easy to remember. We'll put, for our viewers that are driving, we'll put links to Jordan's information, how to get a hold of his company, and just, to see Instagram and Facebook, all the different places that he has a presence on. And we always like to leave our viewers with your parting insight. What would you want people to remember about you from this podcast?
It's just that I care, on a personal level too, not just, trying to give you junk roll service, clients all the time. I try to take about, even when we're trying to rush and get to the next job, try to take at least 5 minutes out to get to know the client personally and see what they're going through. Because even with these junk roll jobs, there is some type of story behind why they're getting rid of it. And, some people go through, hard times like divorces. Some people go through hard times, moving from, pretty much an area that they've been living their whole life, and or just losing a loved one. We've had to clean out at home for a lady that passed away. She was 9 years old. I think she just passed away from age.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of that time, and pretty much we got to sit down with the older adults, kids that they were just pretty much pouring their heart out to us, just this is what's happening, this is what's going on. So we do care on a personal level,
Mm-hmm.
and just try to get to know you, and you're people, we're people.
Yeah.
And somebody always needs somebody to talk to at some point. So
awesome. Well, Jordan, I want to thank you for coming into the studio bright and early, because this is a real, you're obviously an early riser, so that's a good thing, and I know you're going to do extremely well. So thank you for taking the time to come into the studio and share with our viewers your philosophy on decluttering and junk removal.
thank you.
All right. Thank you.